Good afternoon. We'll call to order this session or this meeting of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have a quorum present, although Councilman Karen Lang is excused tonight and will not be here. The other 6 members of the council are in attendance. With that, then, we'll turn to Councilman Corey Rustin for our opening ceremony.
Thank you, Mayor. As has been the tradition of my time on the council, I usually get the first week of April to have an opening ceremony. And that happened again this year. And usually that first week of April, the thing happening is opening day of baseball. And so I always have a nice patriotic baseball themed opening ceremony. This year, however, I opted for another one and received an email from a frequent visitor here saying, oh, you've messed up your tradition of not having a baseball themed opening ceremony. So I have one today. I was able to still get it in the month of April here, and this is President Obama honoring Hall of Famer Ernie Banks, who just passed away a few months ago, one of baseball's great patriotic ambassadors. And so we'll have Jake play a minute of his remarks and then have everyone rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's the best he's ever seen.
You don't want to hear anything he has to say.
What's his name? You scared?
Just
Ernie Banks walked into the Cubs locker room and didn't like what he saw. Everybody was sitting around, heads down, depressed, he recalled. So Ernie piped up and said, boy, what a great day, let's play 2. That's Mr. Cub, a man who came up through the Negro Leagues making $7 a day and became the first black player to suit up for the Cubs and one of the greatest hitters of all time. In the process, Ernie became known as much for his 512 home runs as for his cheer, his optimism, and his eternal faith that someday the Cubs would go all the way. And that's serious belief. That is something that even a White Sox fan like me can respect. But he is just a wonderful man and a great icon of my hometown.
Ernie Banks. With an unmatched enthusiasm for America's pastime, Ernie Banks slugged, sprinted, and smiled his way into the record books. Known to fans as Mr. Cub, he played an extraordinary 19 seasons with the Chicago Cubs, during which he was named to 11 All-Star teams, hit over 500 home runs, and won back-to-back Most Valuable Player honors. Ernie Banks was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1977, and he will forever be known as one of the finest power hitters and most dynamic players of all time.
Okay, would you please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Rushton. No Scout troops here tonight, it appears, so we'll move on to our minutes of April 14th to the council.
Mayor, I move for approval of our minutes for the April 14th meeting.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. We now go to our public comment, and we have one individual signed up. Mr. Markham, I think you're the only one, so.
Mike Markham, 3008 Alice Circle. I've been going over to our Thursday night food truck events. I think it's great. There's all kinds of food, all kinds of people, but we need to add to it. We need to get the musical bands. I talked to Steve, if we get twice a year a car show. They have them over here at the mall a couple of times a year. But we need to bring different things in to bring in different people. You know, where do you park the cars? Either in the plaza or on the lawn. And we need to work on getting all the outlets fixed at the park, so the food trucks can plug into the outlets and not run those noisy generators. I don't know how many of you have been over there and had to deal with the generators running. It's really obnoxious, but I think if you haven't been over there, you probably ought to get over there, walk around, put a big sign on your back. It's Councilman so-and-so and Mayor so-and-so, so people know that even the council people are supporting it. I've seen Steve over there on multiple occasions. And we need to get the food truck sign put up on a regular. Steve can't do it every time on his way to work. The same guy that puts out the cones ought to be able to put up the food truck sign. But, you know, I think it's a positive for the city. You know, as much as I was opposed to what we were doing there, if we can keep it going and keep people coming down to the park and let them know what we have and what's happening, we need to have some more positive things coming out of the city. You know, the police chasing the ducks yesterday was good. But we need some positive input. I think we need to have Roxanne, you know, pushing more of the good things that go in the city, like food trucks Thursday. I tell people about it. I try to get them down there. I'm trying to get the old people that live in the county's housing right by there to walk down and participate. But don't know if that'll work. But anyway, it's a positive thing. We can kind of continue to grow it and make it happen. Thanks.
Thank you. And I believe that's all that signed up for public comment. So, with that then, to the city manager for any comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I don't really have anything of, from a planned comment standpoint. I was going to correct Mike on one thing, whose commentary I always appreciate is looking out for the city. I'm actually not sure if Steve has missed a night. I know he is there indeed on many occasions, but I think he may actually hold an unblemished record for attendance at the food truck.
I missed a couple.
Okay, anyway, just wanted to kind of add on to what Mike was saying there. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. To the council.
I just might mention that Kevin Assel and I walked out there between meetings and we looked at the outlets, and he's going to have the staff look at what needs to be done to get them functional. So, also, if you haven't looked out there on the plaza, in the reader boards the concert series are already published out there. So if you want to look at the reader boards that are out there on Fairborn Station, it has the concert series already listed.
Okay. With that then, no more comments, then we'll go on to item 7 on our agenda. We have a public hearing that we will be holding on application SB-2-2015, filed by the city to vacate a portion of Holmberg Street, just to the west of us here, 2950 west, 3550 south. And this is part of the overall plan of Fairborn Station, this whole redevelopment area. And so this is another piece of the puzzle that we're taking care of. With that introduction, then, any comments from the council or city manager? Don't see any. So what we will do then is we will now accept public input and declare open the public hearing portion regarding application SB-2-2015. Is there anyone here who would care to speak to this item? Don't everyone crowd up at once. None of the three. So With that then, seeing no public comment, we will close the public comment portion, the public hearing, and that is now closed. We return to the council for any comments or action.
Mayor, I move for approval of ordinance 15-15.
We have a motion by Councilman Bueller to approve ordinance 15-15, which is the city's action to vacate a portion of Holmberg Street. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Councilman Vincent. With that then, the motion is properly before us. Any discussion? I have to look a couple of times, just make sure I don't miss anyone. Okay, seeing no comments, we will place it for a vote. All in favor of approving ordinance number 15-15 to vacate a portion of Holmberg Street, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The ordinance is approved. We now go to item number 8 on our agenda, the consent agenda. We have 2 resolutions there. A quitclaim deed and an embankment easement. And unless the council deems otherwise, we typically do our consent agenda as a group. And those 2 items fairly routine and make no significant change. The quitclaim deed is actually to the city's benefit. We're deeding a portion of the property back to the developer in return for having that site, which was for access to a trail, be landscaped and improvements placed upon it. The other one's just an embankment easement. With that then, to the council.
Mayor, I'll move approval of the 2 resolutions of the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the 2 resolutions. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have the second, Liston and Hume. It's properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place it for a vote. All in favor of approving our consent agenda resolutions 15-71 and 72, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. The 2 resolutions are approved. Any further comments from the council? Seeing none, we have no need for an executive session. Therefore, our agenda is complete. We will now have one final motion. Unless you want to stay.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.